Hey everyone, how's it going? So this is going to be a really boring video for my brother, who I'm sending him a security system that I've had sitting around doing nothing, and he wants to set it up. So I figured I'll do a quick overview of it, so that way the basic functions, stuff like that, so that way he's not completely left in the dark with how it goes. So without further ado, so it's going to be kind of a really raggedy, put together whatever, but anyway, here you go. So here's the video system itself. This is on Amazon. It's about 150 bucks, 160, 200 bucks, somewhere in there, depending on the time and day and whether or not you're buying the version with an included hard drive or without. Now this one, if we spin this around, that's what this 1T stands for in this particular one. It's a D8, meaning that it can support up to 8 cameras. I'm assuming this 4 means that it has 4 cameras with it, and the 1T meaning it has a 1 terabyte hard drive already. So that's the system itself. It comes with 4 cameras. It comes with cables to run to all 4 cameras. It's either 50 or 75 foot lengths. I don't remember what they are. It's warm out here. They are just BNC and 2.1 millimeter power jacks. So most standard wired cables will work. So this whole corner is an entire big mess, but before we get to that, let's go take a look at the camera. Okay, now pardon my leftover Christmas decorations because I was too lazy to take them off the shed. So there's the camera itself. Now this is just one of them. I hooked it up here and I just kind of aimed it off that away so I could see what the picture quality looked like. So if we take my phone and we just kind of aim in the same direction, so there you go. So that's the picture you're looking at. The camera's not very big. Here's a bucket that I'm going to stand on because that's totally safe. Okay. Yep, totally safe. So here we go. Camera itself, about 3 inches long, 2 inches in diameter. And then you have, let's loosen some of this up. So here we go. So you have a screw up here that you can use to adjust this left and right. This is an all-weather camera system. The downfall with it though is I don't know how long those screws are going to hold in without rusting out and whatnot, but here's what it is. So there's the camera itself. Here's the connections. Again, this is just the power connection. Goes in just like so. And if you had more than one cable, you can daisy chain them together as long as you have a BNC connector to connect your BNC connectors together. So this is just that first camera. So you can see it's pretty much the same angle that I was showing on my phone. These are 1080 cameras, so they're 1080p, so basically HD cameras. I think they're like a 2 megapixel for stills or whatever, but it works just fine. So the next thing we're going to do before we take this through is I parked my car out there. We're going to go turn this camera and we're going to see how well we can see my car in the driveway. Mainly can we like make out the driver, the license plate. So let's go turn the camera. I gotta go find a screwdriver and see what it looks like. So we've got the camera turned, just a screwdriver. Didn't take hardly anything at all. So now we're gonna turn around, go back into the camera, and there we go. Now I cannot make out, at least not in here, my license plate number on my car. That said, if I were to walk out by my car, I'm thinking I'm going to be pretty recognizable as far as a person goes. So even though you can't make out an individual license plate, and that's probably a 60, 70 foot distance, is what it is. You might not get individual license plate numbers, but you're going to be able to easily recognize. Like my car isn't just a blob, it's easily recognizable for where it is. So if you're catching a bad guy on camera, well, it's going to be pretty obvious who is who. Now, I should also mention that the image you're seeing is an image on a monitor. It's an old Dell monitor through my phone lens. So what you see through here, the picture quality you're seeing is not completely representative of what the picture on the monitor looks like. But that said, I mean, you get a good idea. It's not a multi-$1,000 system. It's a couple $100 system, but it will still do plenty for what it needs to do. For a basic home security system, a home camera system, works great. So That said, let's get into some of the nuts and bolts of this thing. So here's the main guts of the unit itself. There's just a power brick that goes in the wall. That's this plug here. This is the camera line. Comes with a mouse. Very basic mouse, but it comes with one. And that's pretty much it. So the cameras themselves, you have one power supply, and that comes over to here, okay? And this branches off into 4 plugs. So each of these 4 plugs can power one of the cameras. So here's, if we put this up here, this is the camera cable. So you can see we have a power connector, which goes into one of the 4 plugs, and a BNC connector that I don't even have hooked in a way, goes to the back of this. Now this does have a spot for 8 cameras, comes with 4, but that's how you hook them up. Power through the cameras is right through this cord, and again, you can daisy chain them as long as you've got a BNC connector that you can hook 2 of these suckers together with, because the plugs are negative on this end, or a female end on here, and then a positive on the other end, so you can actually just daisy chain them together. It does come with more of them. They're all in here. So for example, here's your here's our ends. So there you go. Female, male, and then you would just need a BNC to BNC connector to hook 2 of these suckers together, and then there you go. So there's the 3 more in there. Obviously I've got one hooked up. The unit itself does have an internet connection, a Wi-Fi, or a regular wired internet connection. You just plug a cord into there and then to your modem or whatever, and then you can actually remotely view this. And we'll get into that in a minute. The main unit itself, you plug it in, turn it on, it instantly fires up, and then you have a mouse. So mouse on the screen right there. You can right-click, main menu, and away you go. Now there is a setup guide, but it's pretty boring. It's pretty pathetic. Like, so guide basically says, do you want English? Here's your QR codes to install your iOS or Android app to then remotely access using the remote access. Next page just gives you your regular stuff. Network information, crap like that if you want, time and date. And then this tells you what happens when your hard drive is full. So this particular unit has a 1 terabyte hard drive. Once that 1 terabyte is filled up, then it's going to just start overwriting from the oldest footage forward. So, if this is the hard drive, it gets full, then it just basically starts rewriting from the beginning and overwriting. So it's constantly looping. That's what that is. Next page, just gives you your internet connection if you're plugged in, your ISP, your IP address and everything off your router. And then that's it. If you made changes, you click OK and it'll reboot the unit. And we didn't make any changes, so we don't need to. System brings up the same sort of thing. Your general information, this is, I don't know. RS-32, that is your output to your, well, normally it would be a modem, but the only RS-32 well, there isn't one, so I don't know exactly what they're using there. Account, this would be if you wanted to add users to this. Auto maintain, this is basically just says, auto reboot the unit every so often just to keep it, fresh. Importing and exporting junk, restoring, and all this crap for settings. Video, this one will tell you, for example, our display here. If you want to have things like the time display, the resolution you want to display here, if you want to have the menu transparent, stuff like that. Color setting, if you need to make any adjustments, for example, contrast or saturation, if you want it to be really colorful. You can go back to the default color. So if you do need to change your brightness and contrast and stuff like that, you can easily do it here if you find a picture that you want to make it look like. Output adjust, this is just, if you want to have black bars on your screen. Again, this is mostly just basic crap. PTZ would be if you had push or pan, tilt, and zoom, pan, tilt, or zoom cameras. These cameras are not PTZ cameras, they are just a straight camera. So we're going to cancel out of that, so we didn't need to do it. Sensor, this would be things like motion detection. So you can enable your motion detection. You can change your sensitivity, which channels you're using, all that fun stuff. So this is where it says region. You can click on set and you can say, I want to only record. So for example, in my case, if we didn't need to record any, if we don't want to record birds on the lines, we can block out using this red all the areas that will not trigger a motion sensor. So when the motion trips, it's going to start recording. Well, if I only wanted to record what's in my driveway, I can block out everything north of my driveway. So for example, if I do this, now I'm only recording if somebody comes into the driveway. I'm not recording any cars going by on the road. So that's where that is. To go backwards, by the way, right click on the mouse. This is your interval period. If you want to set it to only record during certain times, you can set that there, where you can basically say, I only want to record, right now it's set 24 hours a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but you can actually go through and fine tune when you want the system to be active. Most people, I would imagine, are going to leave it to just all the time. Video blind, I think that's kind of another one where you can do some of it. Like most of this stuff is just weird stuff that I don't know about, and I don't know if the manual or the guide is going to actually tell you, but that's what that is. So while that's rebooting, I did get a second shelf finally, so that's fun. So now I've started putting more and more stuff on it. As you can see, I have computer stuff on the one, and then some racing / the rudder pedal box, which is kind of a hokey box, but then like some my old phone boxes, my little drone. So I did get a second shelf to finally start getting some more stuff out. Okay, we are back on the camera. So by default, this does not have a password on it. You just click OK. You can create a password once you're done, but right now that's back in your system under your users and whatnot. But by default, it just has none. Network, again, this has all your information for your network. This is the IP address that it pulls off of your modem or router, and then a lot of this stuff is extra stuff. So 3G, 4G, if you had a modem hooked up to this, Wi-Fi, this doesn't have Wi-Fi. So even though it makes it look like it has Wi-Fi, I've done this all day long, and I'm literally that far from my router. And if it's not finding Wi-Fi signal, yeah, I mean, I got nothing. So yeah, it really just does not have Wi-Fi. Like, I don't know why it tells us that there's Wi-Fi. It just does not have it. And then again, cloud. This gives you information as far as your remote access goes, stuff like that. And then record. Basically, this just says, here's your hard drive. Tells you what your remaining space is, and then record. If you wanted to manually start or stop or whatever, it's all fun. Alarm status, there really isn't any. This is like if you're, if it tells you, hey, you're out of video. Hard drive info, again, just tells you what you have. BPS, this is just telling you your bandwidth as far as what the camera is reporting. Log would be, well, basically a log of what you've done. Version, pretty boring. Gives you a serial number. Net status, rather, that's connected. Here's your MAC address, all that fancy crap. And then online user, well, there isn't any, so there we go. So that's very, very basic. Now playback, for example, if we had recorded, it would be in here. Now this particular, let's go back, because we need to fix our output, because so we're going to fix our output on our monitor real quick, because I just realized that all these things that I'm showing you, my resolution is set up as a 1920 by 1280 widescreen monitor, that Dell monitor is not. So when I went to go in there, I realized that the monitor was actually showing a cut off picture. It wasn't scaled down or anything. So that playback menu, for example, was not showing the proper format, and you couldn't see half the stuff. So I've switched that. So we're going to go back in, take a peek. Okay, from this side, nothing looks different. But now if we go to our main menu, we log in, we click on playback. Hey, there we go. Now we have all our information. Now you can disable extra cameras if you want. You can search to see if anything has any files. Now I have not recorded anything on this. That's why there's no files. Again, the interface is not intuitive. So like you're sitting here going, how do I go back? Right click, up window. You can format the disk and all that fun stuff. But anyway, let's go out here. This is actually things like volume. You can record volume. You can take a snapshot. But we're going to click on the record button. So now we should actually be recording. So let's go for a walk. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go out and, whoa. I don't know if you can see behind me here, but fog is starting to come in. So we're going to walk out to my car. We're going to get in my car, and we're going to drive my car forward. So we're going to record us doing that, and then we'll go back in and watch and see how it looks. Getting in the car. Vehicle in motion, door not in park. Or door open, vehicle not in park, rather. Okay. We did a thing. So now let's walk through the water. It's been raining again. This rain has been something else this year, man. Okay. Let's come back over. See, now we have the car closer. We're going to go up. We're going to go back to playback. We're going to search. And there we go. So here's our playback. And any second now, we're going to see us walk out this door. See, there we go. Holding onto the phone because that's what I'm recording on. So do you feel like you're in Inception yet? Here we are watching a video of me taking a video that we're recording while we record. That's weird. But obviously, as you can see, playback is just fine. I'm gonna hit the door. No, I'm not gonna hit the door. Whoa, scared you. And then that's it. So for example, it actually shows down here in the corner where playback was. So for example, if we reverse fast, vroom. See, now I know I can read my my thing in there, but we're going to stop playback. There's a few different things down here. So file list is probably the easiest one to format or to go by. It'll tell you the start time and actual start time and end. You can do there's like a weird so for example, it's weird how it works. I just used to use the file list because it's just easier to see a file over here, and then you can just double click, start, stop. All your controls are down here, and then again to go up window. Yep, so you can manually start and stop them by clicking on, you just click the button, then you go up here, and then you click on record or playback or whatever, hide. But the short version is that's how you operate the unit itself. Now, the app itself, that's what other people have been complaining about, that it's very, very poorly designed. I agree that it's very basic and rudimentary, but I have had it working fine. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to show you how to set up this. Now, I uninstalled the apps from my phone. So I'm going to screen record my phone while we do this. Okay, so one of the other things that you'd want to do, now by default, the username is admin, password is blank. That's not secure. But you can create a new one under System, under Account. So let me swing this back around. So, okay, so here's our menu. Under main menu, System, Account, Admin. Now this admin, GU, I think it's GUI, I is kind of hidden there, but that's for this. You also have other users you can use, but you can click it and modify user to give that particular account access to certain things, and more importantly, you can modify your password. Old, in this case, is blank. You do want to make a new password, so that way it's not default. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to come into here, we're going to click on Add User. We're just going to make a username of Chuck, because why not? Enter, password, hello. As dumb as it sounds, confirm, HELLO. Enter. We want it to be an admin user, not a user, because we want to show just what we can do. But you can restrict it by giving, so for example, users can modify, replay, stuff like that. Admin can do everything. And that's more if you're logged into here, not so much for the remote. But we're going to click on OK, add user complete. Here's Chuck. He's an admin user. His status is normal. We're done. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go to Network, under Cloud, all this information. Now this device ID is your serial number for your device. These 3 QR codes, iOS, Android, remote access. The remote access is literally a copy of this. So you can copy it and save it. You don't need to know the server IP stuff or the port or nothing. Enable turns it on. So we want to scan this code. So here we go. Okay, so Android has opened. It says this address, topscloud.net. We're going to open in our browser, and that's just going to redirect us to Google, to this app called XVR View by Steve Mike. I know it's stupid, and the reviews are junk, but trust me, we're just going to install it anyway. There we go. We're going to go ahead and open it. Once it's installed, we're going to go ahead and open it. We want to let it take pictures and record video, and the reason we want to allow that is because if we're remotely viewing and we want to take a screenshot of something, we see something on the lawn, we can do that. Record audio, same reason. You can actually record audio coming in, although you'll see why you're not going to want to, but we're going to give it that. And access photos and media, again, yes, because we want to be able to play back if anything we recorded. If we record a video clip and want to play it back on our phone, it needs to know that. Doesn't need your contact information or your location or anything like that. It just wants to know that stuff. Now, you're seeing this page. It says username cannot be empty. Please input password, local, login, or register. I'm going to fill all this crap in. Registered successfully. Cool. Let's input our password. Click on login, and there we are. So now we're at this screen. This is live preview, but if you click on the button, you'll see there's nothing to play. Device list, there's nothing. So you're going to go back to your menu, click on Device Manager, click the plus sign to add one, and now it's going to say device IP or domain or device ID. Okay, so for device ID, in your network under cloud, there's a remote access QR code that you can click this QR code button here and scan it, or you can just type in where it says device ID. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, real quick pause, and that is, you're noticing probably that I'm logging into the app, I've put my device ID in, but I didn't change my username. The username is still admin, or that's the default one because we didn't change the password. We just showed you how. And that's just because I forgot to change it. I forgot that we had created this new user, Chuck, to play with. I showed you how to make the new user, but I forgot that I could just log in with him. But you do not have to use the admin login to log into your remote app when you're setting this up. You can go ahead and use whatever user you created, and you would just change your username and password right there. So instead of it saying admin on the screen like you're seeing, just put your username and your password in, and everything should be fine from there. Just wanted to point that out because, like I said, you don't have to use the admin one, and the only reason I've got it still on the screen is because I forgot to change it to the new user. Anyway, that's it. And click Add Device. And here we go, device 01, then 01, camera 1, 2, 3, and 4. We want camera 1. Instantly, we have access. Now, that said, we are on Wi-Fi right now. So we're going to go ahead and disable our Wi-Fi network altogether. Now you'll see we are on 4G service up here in the corner. Really poor service in the shed, not much better outside. But we still have some service outside. There we go. So now, as you can see, if you see the screen in the middle, we're running 8 to 10 FPS, nothing major. But we are on a Wi-Fi signal. You can see that up in the corner. And you can see I am down here, I'm waving. It's about a half a second lag, but it does work. It's not the most smooth thing in the world, but it does work, and that's remotely accessed. Now the only downfall with using the app to take screenshots or pictures is that they don't get saved in your gallery like a normal screenshot would be. They're a proprietary format, I guess. So you can't just open your gallery and find the screenshot or the video clip you just recorded or took. So in the app, and I'll show you here in a second, there's actually a menu. Go to the menu, go down to files, and then you'll see them. So we'll jump over back to the screen recorder and I'll show you where that is. Okay, so we've jumped back into the app. Again, we're just basically buffering because I've got really crappy cell signal in here, but that doesn't matter. That's not what we're here for. We click the little menu button in the upper left, and then you have playback. And playback on here is actually playing back the videos that you have saved on the hard drive. So if I click on playback, I can actually click on that, click on the camera, and it's actually going to load the video clip that is saved on here. Now right now it's stopped, but I can click on play, and it's going to connect to the unit. And you'll remember that clip we took of me going out and moving the car? Well, that's what we're playing back right now. Again, it's playing over the network. It's reduced quality because we're playing it back, streaming it basically. But locally on the unit, as you saw, it works fine. But that's not what we want. We want to see what we just recorded. So we're going to go down to Files, and we can click and view. These are the pictures. These are the screenshots we took. This is the video clip we took, just like that, and it will play back. Obviously, we only record a couple seconds, but if you look at that little hanging thing in the middle of the camera, you'll see that it just kind of, it's obviously moving. That's a video clip. Same thing. So there's our files that we've taken screenshots of, just like that. All right, so there you have it. That's the really rough overview of one of the cheaper hard drive-based security cameras on Amazon that comes with 4 cameras. At the time, it was one of the cheaper ones that I could find, but it did come with 4 cameras, cable, and more importantly was that built-in hard drive that will automatically record things and, well, had a recording. Web access was nice, that the fact that I can remote into it, and as you saw, I did not need Wi-Fi to do it or be on the same network. Some of the reviews on Amazon, they do claim that you need to be on your own local network and that they could not get the app to work when they were away from home. But as you can see, we did exactly that by disconnecting from Wi-Fi, going back to cellular connection, going outside where I had a better cellular connection, and we were able to connect into the unit just fine. And again, the buffering and stuff, that's to be expected. It's not a really high-end unit as far as that goes. It's not something like a $300 wireless IP camera that's going to stream 1080 at 60 FPS directly to your phone, but it's not what it's designed for. It's designed to be a security system first with bare bones features extra to allow you to do what you need to do. It's nice to be able to have it on your phone so you can say, hey, crap, there's something going on. You can even record it if you wanted to, but the cameras are already recording. So it's kind of nice to have it. It's a bonus. And all for the price point, it's really not that bad. I really can't complain for it. 4 cameras all set up with a 1 terabyte hard drive. You can even put a bigger hard drive in it if you wanted to do that and then just reformat it. But 1 terabyte, I did the math in my head at one point, and I believe the 1 terabyte, something like, if you had it set to record via motion and so on, it's something like, I think it'll record like almost an entire month of just motion tripped video capture before it gets to the point where it starts needing to overwrite anything. That said, chances are if you've got one of these things and something happens, you're going to know it fairly soon, and you don't need an entire month to go back through and start sorting through. So if I came home and my house is broken into tonight, well, I know I've just got to go look at the footage tonight. I don't need to go look at the footage from 3 weeks ago, because the odds are I'm going to know that something happened pretty soon after it happened. So as long as I've got a last couple days worth of recording, that's probably fine. But I think I said by the math, I think it's about a month or so that this will actually record out. So it's not a bad deal. Anyway, that's a very rough overview of it. I know it's pretty shaky and all over the place. But like I said, this is more for, I'm sending this system to my brother, and I wanted to be able to show him something so he knows what to expect, how to operate it, how to get around things. And again, the biggest thing, just, add a password to the admin password so it's not just blank. And then that way nobody else is trying to log in or anything like that by using the app and trying to connect to it, as far as that goes. So that said, I guess thanks for watching.